Howdy. I'm going to rant. If there was ever a rant, today is going to be it. Why do I think it's a rant? Because usually when I record these videos, I usually have a problem that I propose a solution to. But I don't really have a solution. It's not really my job ever to propose solutions. But I'm the kind of person who doesn't like talking about problems just for the sake of talking about problems. I know at work I've sat down with people and it's just a bitch and gripe session. People are saying what's wrong, but no one is proposing a solution to the problem. But I usually like to. But today I'm just going to complain. All right, because lately in the news there's been a lot of Hollywood celebrities that have been accused of sexual harassment, and it's becoming the new norm. It is numbing. These things seem to happen in waves, you know. Several years ago, it was the sex scandal in the Catholic Church, and now it's in Hollywood, and it's just one revelation after another, and it just gets to the point where I don't care about the accused. We should, if they really were legitimately abused somehow, we should care. But when every day you wake up and in the news it's another story, you get tired of it. You know, it started out with Harvey Weinstein, and then Kevin Spacey, and now some comic I've never even heard of, Louis C.K. or something. I vaguely know these people, you know, and let me first start off by telling you my personal experiences with harassment, abuse, whatever you want to call it, molestation. You know, as a man, it's not something that I've experienced as much as you know, many women have. I understand that they're the ones most likely to be preyed upon, but it does happen in men as well. And I don't like thinking of myself as a victim, so I don't like talking about it, at least in those terms. But I'm willing to tell you what happened to me, and then if you want to call it molestation, fine, so be it. But this all happened when I was a minor. I used to live next door to an elderly man, and I went over there because I could hear him playing. He had like an organ, and get your mind out of the gutter. And I used to hear him playing it, and I wanted to play as well. So he let me in his house, and his organ was right there near the door, and I would play it. And one day he came over in a robe, and he exposed himself to me. And I was shocked, and I'm like, okay, and I just continued playing a little while longer. And then he says, come here, let me show you something. And I remember he had like a twin-sized bed in his living room. Really odd. I think that's where it was. I'm telling you, I was young. I was like under 12. And I was like, okay, so I followed him over. He got into bed, and he had like a whole spread of pornography. And he was showing me all these magazines. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I said, you know, well, I'm going to go, you know, play the organ some more. I tried to be as unaffected by this as possible because that's my personality. I don't let things surprise me. And so I'm playing the organ a while longer, and then I really wanted to leave, but I wanted to do it subtly. So then I just played for maybe 5 minutes, if that. And then I said, look, I got to head home. So I walked right next door, you know. I mean, his door was here, mine was literally right here. Go through the door, and I'm complaining to my mother, what a dirty, disgusting, filthy old man. And she's like, what happened? What happened? And my mother had trained me to always tell her everything. So I told her. And she forbid me from going over there anymore. And the guy kind of figured something was up because I wasn't coming over anymore. And he confronted me one day in the building lobby as me and my mom were going out. And he stopped in front of us to talk to us about it. My mother pushed him out of the way, and I didn't have the sense to follow. And my mother, for whatever reason, didn't grab me by the hand and pull me along with her. So I was faced with this guy, and he's like, why did you tell me? Why did you say anything? You know, this was supposed to be our secret. I just hung my head down, and I felt so ashamed, I felt so bad. But I just didn't say anything, and then I just finally left. I think he walked away, so I felt it was okay to leave myself. So that was that. We didn't call the police. We didn't file a lawsuit. I simply just didn't go there anymore. Now I know some of us don't get off that easy, but it wasn't until I decided to see a therapist for unrelated reasons. It just so happened about 10 years ago, there's a lot going on in my life. I was dealing with a breakup and bereavement, and I was in school at the time, and I wasn't doing well, and I was experiencing chronic unemployment, and all these problems came together and it made it really difficult to cope. So I went to therapy, and this is something that finally came out in therapy, and I was told, you know, you were molested. And I never looked at it that way. I didn't, you know, and I don't think I was affected by that. Later on, as a teenager, I started working in a fast food restaurant, and I remember just kind of leaning over the counter, and the manager on duty just walking by, and he whistled at me, and you know, made some, you know, vulgar remark. I don't remember what it was, but I knew it was inappropriate. But I actually felt flattered. You know, you know, somebody's paying attention, somebody likes what they see, and that's all I thought of it. You know, I didn't file a sexual harassment claim at work. I didn't do any of that stuff. And, you know, I was telling my boss about this, you know, how all these things are now coming out and everyone seems to be jumping on the bandwagon. And she told me, you know, I can't tell you how many times over the years, off and on, I have been sexually harassed. And I just blew it off. And, you know, here I am, alive and well. Everything's fine. It hasn't been traumatizing or anything, but I don't understand how this could be that traumatic to some people, but I know there are degrees of sexual abuse, and I think, I think the line has to be drawn between physical touching and just things that you say to somebody. You know, if things are being said to you and it makes you very uncomfortable, avoid that person. That's it. You don't have to call the cops. You don't have to shake them down, try to get money out of the person if they're a celebrity. You know, just ignore it if you can. If it's in a workplace and you have to work with this person and they're always there, then, you know, you may have to go to HR and say something. But I just, you know, it really bothers me because I feel that, I really feel that it's these celebrities that have victimized people are also, I hate to say it, but they're victims too. You know, because this is something that could be handled privately. I don't need to know about this. I don't care. What bothers me is having to hear about it all the time. And now everybody in the whole world is talking about it and hearing about it, and it's just clogging up the news cycle, hearing about this all the time. Somebody sexually harasses you, and actually if it's beyond that, if somebody forces themselves on you, yeah, you have the right to report them, have them arrested, have them convicted and put in prison, and try to, sue them civilly and get some money from them. But it doesn't need to be in the news. The public doesn't need to know about it. And I just feel like now everybody's coming out. Everybody wants their share of 15 minutes of fame. And it's just despicable. So that's all I have to say on the matter. And, I'm sorry if you feel that I'm not more sympathetic towards the people that have been through this, meaning those who have been harassed. But I mean, if this is something that happened 10, 20 years ago and now you're coming out and saying something about it, now I know in Hollywood if you want to make it, sometimes you have to put out. I know that that's been the attitude in Hollywood and sometimes even in the business world, and I know it's just despicable. But you have a choice to say no. I mean, I know in a lot of those situations, people were not forced to do things, but they did it just to get ahead, and that was a choice they made. So to now, many years after the fact, try to make hay of it, I just don't understand it, really. What is the statute of limitations when it comes to this sort of thing? I mean, it's just one thing after another. We have to hear about Bill Cosby, and now we have to hear about Harvey Weinstein all the time, and then Kevin Spacey. And then Kevin Spacey tried to come out to try to get some sympathy, didn't work, and it shouldn't work. All right? He thought he was going to get all these accolades because he had the courage to come out. Don't use gay people that way. Yeah, I mean, if you yourself are gay, that's fine. That's great if you decide to come out. But don't use this moment as an opportunity to deflect attention from what you did. And supposedly Kevin Spacey, when he was like 26 years old, got on top of a 14-year-old and like dry humped him or something like that. Inappropriate, and yeah, you should call on it, but not years down the road when you figure, well, now's the time to do it because everybody else is. No, you say something then, and you don't have to go to the reporters. You just go to the police. So, I'm all talked out on the matter. Interested to know how you feel about this, so let me know. All right? Until we meet again.